Hello and welcome to another video from oorail. So in this video we're going to walk you through the start of a new layout project. The baseboards though that you see here are actually part of the original oorail layout. So the current layout that you see on the channel and stuff like that is sitting directly above this layout. I built it about 14 or 15 inches above the original layout, and the idea behind that was that I could still potentially use this space as a workspace or for a potential layout in the future. And so since the channel's been around now for 10 years, I thought it was kind of fitting to go back to the original layout and turn it into a functional layout again. So I'm actually going to turn the original layout into two layouts because it used to go clear around the bottom half of the basement here, the same way the oorail layout currently does. So what we're going to do in this video is basically take a look at this space right here, and we're also going to add some lighting above the layout too, because as you can see here it's a bit darker because the main layout is wider and above it, so it's blocking out a lot of the light. Now the idea with this layout is it's going to be 00 scale again, just like the main oorail layout, but it's going to be an end-to-end layout. So you can see it's about 16 feet long all the way down to the end there. I'm probably going to extend the baseboard using some pinewood boards, maybe another 4 feet or so, just so I have a bit of an extra run down the end. You might be able to make out clear down the end there's a single track that comes in, and then it kind of branches off into different things, and we'll explain in an upcoming video exactly where the layout is and so on. Now this particular layout is actually going to be set on a real location, so that's kind of cool. I did make some modifications since the layout isn't actually wide enough to accommodate the full kind of track plan for the physical location. I decided to kind of invert part of it so that so the part that would normally branch out here to the left actually has been inverted, so it kind of goes back this way or right down through here. And I'll explain more in an upcoming video. But in today's video, I kind of just wanted to walk through the baseboards and give you guys a look at how I'm doing the lighting in this part of the layout. So the baseboards are actually built on top of the original baseboard. So the original baseboard actually kind of messed up. What I did was just used some pine boards. They're kind of like planks. They're about 4 or 5 inches wide, and they were just left over from flooring and stuff that I had. So what we did was I kind of used kind of angle brackets, those kind of shelf brackets that you have. Got the largest ones I could find, and I basically screwed the pine boards to it, and that was okay. But as you'll see, I'll show you some pictures of it here. It basically had these kind of raises and gaps. You kind of had to put the track where it wasn't kind of overlapping. Some of the pine boards, I don't know if you have the same problem in the UK, but here in the States, if you get pine boards in places like Lowe's, they're not always cut straight. Sometimes they're warped or not quite fully straight, so I had some problems with that as well. So what I did to kind of alleviate that problem was I ended up putting this pine board on top of it. So it's about 16 inches wide, and they come in 8-foot lengths, and I believe they're for like shelving or tabletops and or workbenches and stuff like that. I think if you're looking at on Lowe's, it's you search for the one with the glued edges, and it's really flat. You can see there it's kind of made up of different boards that are kind of glued together, and I've screwed it down into the pine boards that were underneath, so wherever there was a kind of slight undulation or it wasn't quite flat, this kind of took care of it. And you can see there I've got a nice 16-foot run from one end to the other. All right, so what we're gonna do next is, as you guys have seen some of the track plan, kind of got an idea of the baseboards. What we're gonna do next is basically install the. So what I'm gonna do is install 2 runs of LED lights. I'm gonna run one length down the kind of outside here and one length down this side here, and between the two, they should provide enough light onto the bottom part of the layout. I'm using these Govee daylight white LED light strips. These are dirt cheap on Amazon. a couple of dollars, and it's not a big deal. What I wanted to do though is I kind of wanted to kind of focus or direct the light a little bit better than just sticking it up there. So what I've done is I've got these kind of cable pathway things, so they're just designed for installing cables and stuff like that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sticking the LED strip to this after I've stuck these to the upper part of the layout here. So it's basically going to get, I don't know if you can see this, you can basically get, it's going to be stuck to the wood like so, and then we'll have the LED lights on it, and that'll actually give me something to stick it to, because parts of the upper part here have gaps because I use this for kind of storage and so on. And in terms of the LED lights, they're pretty straightforward. They're your bog standard LED lights. So just on a strip, they have a power system and a kind of on-off intensity. And I'm going to be able to mount this just under the baseboard, so I can kind of control the lighting for the layout. And they go on a long strip. These are 16 feet long, so they'll actually go the entire length of the layout. All right, so what I'm going to do is kind of prepare this, and then we'll get. So one thing I wanted to show you guys was the upper part of the layout. So this is the underneath of the main double rail layout that you see in the videos and so on. So what I've done with the new part of the layout was that I kind of created these kind of C brackets. So there's like a big C or U shape, and these are just made from standard 2x4s, and they're screwed together, and then they're screwed into the wall. So they're actually bolted to the studs in the wall, and then I screw the plywood on top of it. So it's super rigid, it's not going anywhere. But one thing I did do was I noticed I had all this kind of empty space and there are no points underneath here. So what I did was actually put some pine wood planks that were cut across the bottom of this and kind of screwed them in underneath, and then kind of glued it. And so what that enabled me to do is basically use it for storage. And what I'll do is I'll just show you an example of that storage. So you can see there I can store a whole bunch of locos under the layout, and it's very handy if I'm over on this section of layout away from the main loco storage, so that I can just store stuff and keep it dust free and so on. So you can see here I've got some Hornby class 47s and some Deltics. Alright, so for this project, to do the lighting, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to want some kind of level, and this is just so that when you install the cable channel, you install it straight. The cable channels I bought come in a little box here. You get about, they come in 2-foot sections, you get about 8 of them, and that gives you 16 feet. Because they're in 2-foot sections, it's very, very manageable, and they come with these double-sided taped stuff just to stick it to the where you're going to stick it. So you just basically stick one side of it and stick it in place wherever you need to stick it in place, and you're good to go. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be gluing these in place with the double-sided tape and using the level to measure it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the self-adhesive backed LED strip here, and we're going to run it the whole length of the layout to the underside of these. And the nice thing with this too is that if you need to ever run cabling, you do have the channel there as well to run through the whole layout if you need to. Alright, so I'm going to go and prepare and move the camera around a little bit, and then we'll get. Okay, so this is the underside of the shelving. It's directly below the layout. So this is, just to give you an idea, it is about 26 centimeters from the baseboard, or just over 10 inches, 10¼ inches from the baseboard here on the bottom. So that's how far the lighting is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run 2 strips. So the first strip I'm going to do is going to be on the outside here, and then I'll do a second one. So it's going to be on outside, and we'll do a second one on the inside here, and that should get enough lighting down through it. And like I said earlier, I'm using these daylight colored LEDs, so hopefully they will look pretty good. So what I'm going to do is just going to line it up like that. I'm going to take the level and just make sure that it's leveled this way, and then now that I know it's straight that way, I'm going to mark it in place. So I'm going to start on the edge there, check the level right here, and then I'm going to take the pencil and just mark the baseboard where the corner is. And what we're going to do is take one of the adhesive strips, and we're going to stick it onto this. So they already come kind of lipped on one side, so it's very easy just to peel it back. Just line it up centrally, and then as you go through it, you just want to hold it down and make sure that it's going to adhere it straight like so. Okay, and then what we're going to do is just simply peel the top part off, find our mark right here, and our mark at the end, and it's going to stick in place like so. Okay, and so what we're going to do next, once we've done the whole length down the layout here, we're going to stick this to the outside edge of it and make sure that it, like so, right? So it'll go all the way down. Now, if you're wondering why I'm sticking it to this rather than sticking it straight to the wood, just so that it's easier to remove, and also I kind of wanted it to kind of focus the light downward a little bit more, and also have the channel through here to run lighting, or run other cabling and so on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way all the way down the layout. Oh, the other reason for using this is that there are gaps at certain points down through here, so this actually gives me a solid base to connect to, and it was actually cheaper than putting some wood in and so on. All right, so let me go and work this all the way to the end, and then we'll show you how to stick the LED strip to it, and then we'll show you the... Okay, so you can see here I've got it running all the way down to the far end of the layout. So next thing to do is to simply peel the part of the LEDs here off. So you just roll out a length of them, and you want this part to be attached to the center here, and then you just peel it back. You just want to make sure that it's going to be straight, and just very carefully make sure that it's lining up with the center. Like so. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way down. You can just see that I'm making sure that it lines up. And there's little kind of copper connectors here where you can cut the lengths off if you don't want to use the full length. I'm going to try to use the full length here. You just want to make sure it doesn't bubble. But you can see here the plastic on the outside of the cable pathway here that we used is providing a very useful kind of surface to adhere to, so I don't have to worry about cleaning the wood or treating it and so on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is it's going to take me a few minutes, and you guys aren't going to want to watch me go the whole length of this. So you can sort of see the technique. So you just use your two fingers to keep it centralized, and then you just press down on it, and then use your other hand, as you can see here, to pull back small sections of the adhesive tape at a time, like so. All right, so I'm going to work my way all the way down and to the other end, and then we'll show you it work. So you can see here, by using my two fingers, my forefinger and thumb, I'm able to keep it straight just from the shape of the conduit here. So it makes it really easy to create a near perfect, kind of installation. As you can see, it's going really well. So you can see here too, there was a bit of a gap between the boards here, and the conduit provides a straight sort of path for that, allowing us to stick the LEDs to it. So I'm going to continue working my way down, but you can see all the way back there, that's working out pretty well. Alright, so you can see here, it's stuck really well, and you saw that technique that I used. The shape of this fits the LED strips perfectly, so they just sit on there, and it goes all the way straight down, so it makes the installation very smooth and very easy. What I'm going to do next is just plug it in, and now you might notice there's a spool of it still down the end there. The reason for that is I need to install some pine wood planks towards the end here, just to keep it straight, and I'll be doing that in the morning, and then you'll see the finished product in an upcoming video. So what I'm going to do is just plug the power in, and it comes with this switch that has on, off, and intensity, and it has a 3M sticky back to it, so I'll be able to attach it to the baseboard as well. Alright, so I've plugged in the power, and so hopefully we'll turn this on, and you'll see it's now lit up the entire layout pretty nicely, and then it can be lowered and increased like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a bit of a logo on the track here and move the camera so you can get a better look at it. Alright, so you can see here I've got a logo that's sitting on the track here, and if I turn the lights on, you'll see it's made quite a bit of difference. You can see the logo a lot better now than you did before. And then likewise, if I want to maybe adjust the time of day, I can do that by increasing and decreasing the intensity on the light. Alright, so I'm going to give you another close-up look at the logo here, and you can see it's pretty bright, but I think adding a second strip along the outside there will bring it up to the same kind of brightness that we have on the upper part of the layout. You can see that the light too is a slightly bluer light with the daylight than the main lights I have on the layout. Alright, so there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to install the lighting above the layout like this. One, you can sort of see here, there's some sort of these shadows that the logo is casting, and that's because the light source is basically coming over here where my hand is in the main part of the room. Plus it's kind of not quite as nice when you start to film this stuff. It doesn't look too bad in person, but if you've seen some of my earlier double oorail videos where I didn't have great lighting down here in the basement, it didn't really work out so well. So if I turn the lights on, you can see that immediately eliminates that shadow. So The shadows that were here are gone. This is actually just a stain on the baseboard. And you can also see that it's kind of just much better lit. So I think a second set of strip lights just a little bit further over will add to the lighting a little bit and make it a little bit brighter, kind of on par with the rest of the layout. And I'll be able to turn, having two strips, I'll be able to turn one or the other off if it's too much, depending on what I'm doing. Alright, so this is the reverse view of the layout with the lights off, and you can see it's not too bad. You have a lot of shadows coming in from the side just because the lights in the center room are here, and there's this baseboard up here is kind of basically cutting off some of that light. So what I'm going to do next is just turn the light on, and you'll get a better look of it working. Alright, so you can see there, with the lights on, it's much better. I think the second strip running down through here will make a bit of a world difference as well. I also need to figure out what I'm going to do in terms of back scene along here as well. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for folks to throw some suggestions my way for this new layout. Alright, so I'm going to go take down the other end and give you guys a bit of a conclusion on it, but so far so good for this LED light strip project. Alright, so there you have it. You saw how to install the LED lights. We installed these LED lights onto the cable channel management plastic kind of cable routing thing, and it worked out pretty well. I'll put the links to Amazon where I got them in the description, just so you guys can pick it up. There won't be affiliate links or anything like that, just straight up links. I used the Govee daylight white LED light strips, but you can use whatever LED light strips you would like to use. Personally, I like the look from the daylight. It's kind of this kind of cool white look, and I think it'll fit well into the location that I'm basically modeling. So in the next video, what we'll do is we'll take a look at the track plan, some photos of the actual location, as well as maybe look at the Google Maps or Google Earth kind of track view of how the layout is, or how the real location is today. So I'll try to do another update for this part of the layout in a couple of days. I would like to get the track nailed down, as well as the lighting finished, and get some trains running on it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found it useful, and if you have any suggestions or comments, please put them in the comments below, and until next time.